Hello everyone, today I'd like to show you how to torrent anime. I'm making this video because a lot of people, a lot of my friends and a lot of family that I have, they like watching anime or reading manga or some other Japanese media, and but whenever I try to explain torrenting to someone, or they learn of torrenting and say that it's too hard to do, and that they just rather pay 80 euros a month to Netflix or whatever, or Crunchyroll or some shit like that, they say, "Oh, torrenting is too hard. I can't do it. It's so complex." And I'm making this video for them, and I'm making this video for all other kinds of people who say the same thing, and I'm doing it to showcase that torrenting really isn't all that hard. I don't know everything about torrenting. I would say I just know what I know. I don't know everything. I just know what I know about downloading anime and manga through the many years that I've been doing it. So yeah, let's start. You're gonna open your browser of choice. You're gonna go to this site. It's called nya.si. It is a public tracker. It is a tracker is at least to my knowledge, what I know, is a public database of torrents, of people that upload torrents to it. It's like a indexing, searching thing. I think this is the most used one, the most used public tracker for downloading anime and manga. Here you have your filters, here you have your categories. You're probably gonna mostly want to search for anime English translated or literature English translated if you want to read manga or light novels or whatever. Raw, for example, is the thing in Japanese, so it's raw, it's not translated. And you have other non-English translations such as Brazilian, Portuguese, Spanish, French, etc. The rest of this is also self-explanatory. So once you're here, you're gonna want to search up your anime. So let's go English translated. I'm gonna go to, for example, I like Oshinoko, so I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna pick a torrent. You usually sort by most seeders, and you never touch the bleachers. Usually, that's what I do. Seeders are people who are downloading the torrent. Who have downloaded the torrent and they are sharing it to you. So you can download it as well, whereas leechers are people who are still actively downloading the torrent and haven't yet downloaded it. Yeah, so you're gonna go here, you're gonna click either download torrent, which downloads a file, which you then click and it beams it to your torrent client, which is a client, which is a program software. You're gonna need to download torrents. I recommend QBitTorrent. It's free, it's open source, it runs on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, probably also your microwave. But it's free, it's open source, it isn't bullshit like some other torrent clients. You're gonna beam it, so back to the torrent at hand. You find what you want, you beam it through, you either download torrent or you beam it through your magnet to the application. You click OK once the metadata loads, and you wait for your anime to download. Let me see. Okay. So while that's downloading, and I'm gonna talk about a few concepts and a few things. The download speed can depend a lot. It can depend a lot on the amount of seeders there are to share that file to you. Torrenting is a peer-to-peer method of communication or downloading stuff, which is to say that you directly download a file from another person that has downloaded that file on their machine, or parts of that file, and you download it and pick it from other people. This is what This is what shows up when you go to the peers tab on your torrent client. I'm not going to show that, of course, because it would reveal the IP addresses of everybody who is currently seeding it. I'm not going to do that. But yeah. You download directly from other people. And I've also mentioned what a public tracker is, but I'm also going to mention what a private tracker is. A private tracker is a tracker that requires specific authorization to use, to log into, to get into. Which is to say, for example, that's Baka BT now, which you need to be registered in. You need to get in through a registration process that I'm not going to comment on right now. But for example, that's Baka BT, or you have Anime Bytes, which is probably the most comprehensive site for downloading all sorts of obscure anime or anything you could ever want. But yeah, you have anime bytes, and this principle also applies to general stuff. I don't know where people download stuff in general. I think it's 1337XTO. That's another public tracker. And you also have, for private trackers, for example, you have Karagarga, which is a private tracker for obscure films and stuff of that nature. So yeah, but the focus isn't of this video isn't on other public and private trackers. It's to show you for anime and manga, and in 99% of the time, you're probably gonna use Nya. I don't know what else. I usually never use anything else because I haven't found the need to. Besides all the stuff explained, on Nya you also have the FAP section, which is called Sukebe, which has all NSFW stuff. So it's, this is probably hentai, this is doujinshi, games, manga, pictures, whatever. This is useful, for example, if you want to download, say, eroge or something. You're gonna go here, you're gonna sort by most seeders, and you're gonna have like your Subahibi or whatever. That's what I looked up. I'm not gonna open this because it probably has NSFW pictures on it as screenshot examples, but yeah, just so you know. Although for other sites, if you want to specifically download eroge, which other sites I recommend are also RyuGames.com is also really good, or F95 Zone. F95 Zone TO has some of them as well. But that's not the focus of this video. But that also exists if you want it. For most of the time, you're gonna just use regular Nya. You're not gonna go onto Sukebe. And yeah, I'm just waiting for this to download, which might take a while. But I think that this is much better than using a streaming site of some sort that usually has subpar quality, and which I don't think you should use. And also, I want to talk a little bit about some torrent uploaders I don't really like, since I have the chance to do so. I don't like. Is it Muzi? Mozi 2? No. Muzi 2. I do not like Muzi 2. He or their group uploads a lot of this stuff where they will be quite kind of liberal with what kind of they will apply filters or whatever to or he, I don't know, but it's like they apply filters to make their anime look better in some way, and I don't think that's good. That's changing the art direction of the thing itself, and you should just download as close to the original as possible. Another thing I don't like, for example, is upscaled anime that is 1080p, quote unquote, or Blu-ray. For example, you have this Judas release. Judas isn't the only group that does this, but there are others, and they also don't have not all of their torrents are like this, if I recall correctly, but it's just this is not real Blu-ray. This is a 480p original, because Bleach originally, the first 50 episodes, and I think up to episode 120, something like that, aired in 480p. This is not native 1080p. This is upscaled, where they take a 480p video and they stretch it over a 480p video in a 4:3 aspect ratio, and they stretch it over to 16:9. And what that ends up doing is it ends up cutting out information. It ends up cutting out stuff that should be there. For example, this screenshot would have like probably would have more of Orihime's chair, or more of Kenny's legs, or whatever. This isn't a big thing here, but it can be a big thing in some other anime where it can just cut off. There are some examples that cut off just like a really big amount of content when they upscale it like that. I do not like this thing. I encourage you to, if you can, just go and download the original. I think, let me see, what's it called? I can't recall what it's called. Never mind. I really encourage you to just download the thing as you found it originally. So for Bleach, that would be in 480p. Yeah. Still waiting for this to download. Once you've downloaded something, you should keep on seeding it. I do recommend you seed it for other people, so they can also have a so they can also download it. Wait. Okay. So they can also download it faster. The more seeders there are, the faster you can download stuff. And don't just remove the torrent. I mean, you can just remove the torrent when you're done with it, and remove it from the seeding list. But I suggest you don't. Seeding is pretty good. It helps out everyone. But for example, things that have a lot of seeders will also, if you have a lot of people to connect to, a lot of them are likely to have fast connections, and you can just connect them. For example, if we sort by most seeders right now, this is all the like new area. When you just go to all categories, no filter, and sort by most seeders, you see that this has 2,500 or 2,400 whatever. This is usually all of this is gonna be new airing anime. So Soso no Frieren season 2, which I think is I think it's airing right now. I haven't been keeping up. Soso no Frieren, yeah, or it's just finished airing. My bad. But yeah, it's probably, you're probably just gonna find the newest stuff is gonna come up on here. I'm just trying to yap while I wait for this to download so I can show you what the finished product looks like. But yeah, look for torrents with lots of seeders, and that's it. I think I've said everything I wanted to say. Torrenting isn't really all that hard. As for other stuff, I really encourage you to, well, now I closed that, but I encourage you to look on to really look on the torrent page of whatever you're downloading, to see more information about it. Usually these people who upload these are very dedicated. You see, for example, staff. You see what kind of audio it has, what kind of subtitles, but you'd already probably filter through that with this category thing to English translated. But just so you know, and you get more information about it, you should look in the torrent description. I wonder if I can already play it. That would be pretty cool if I could. Yeah, I mostly already can. Oh no, this is a downloads thing. Yeah, but you're gonna have this, for example. There we go. I downloaded the thing. And it's just, it looks great. It's crisp. It's very nice. It isn't like on streaming sites. I know that streaming sites nowadays, obviously they aren't all like crunchy bitrate anymore like they were in like 2013 or whatever. But still, I think downloading anime is better and it gives you a better quality. And yeah. To showcase this as like an example, because I really like this. I like this ending. That's my personal taste. I like the ending to this season of Oshinoko. So yeah, and you also have, for example, in I think Crunchyroll or Netflix releases, you're not gonna have dedicated fan subbers that do like specific, you know, subs for stuff like this. There's a lot of these things that like subbers do, right? But I think this is the rest of this episode is just a Crunchyroll rip. I can't find anything else, but for example, you will have this. You will have stuff that's you know, translated actually. That's actually translated. That is not part of the just characters talking or signs in the background or whatever. Yeah, you will have that with fan subbers and torrenting. I think I was just mostly yapping till I waited for the torrent to download. I think that's all I had to say on torrenting. Yeah, enjoy anime. Don't be a leecher.